This series was funded by great viewers just like you over on Patreon. Check out the description or end of the video to hear how you can take part in making the show even more amazing. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here, and welcome to another episode of Which Ninja, a series that looks at media's most popular shinobi to see which are good and which are bad.
And today we've got a very special topic chosen by a near landslide from our wonderful supporters on Patreon, Jiraiya of Naruto.
Oh lord, are we really gonna dive into Naruto already? I figured we'd save those until we ran out of the good ideas.
Okay, look, I know the Naruto community can be a little overenthusiastic and sometimes downright annoying about the series, but Naruto was actually quite good. I mean, no, I wouldn't call these guys real ninja, more like Yamabushi, but for a shonen anime it had good characters, interesting story, and good development of those elements.
I guess it would be unfair to judge a series spanning more than 800 episodes by its audience alone, but the one thing that has gotten really under my skin since we started this show is that every time I try to do research on true-to-life ninja, Naruto keeps creeping up on me. And it's getting to a point where Naruto's interpretation of folklore characters and historical figures is actually overshadowing the original. So you know what? I'm actually glad our audience decided to choose Jiraiya from Naruto. Gives us a chance to talk about who the character really was versus how he's shown in the show.
That's the spirit, and Jiraiya is no simple ninja in either the show or folklore. In fact, he's one of the best known and most popular ninja to date.
No lie there, the tale of the gallant Jiraiya or Jiraiya Goketsu Monogatari is almost 180 years old. But ever since then, Japan's been adapting and adopting this story into countless forms of media and celebration. For example, in 1839, Jiraiya's tale was retold in a graphic novel which was recreated over 3 generations. In 1852, a kabuki stage play was adapted from his story which became a national success. Even 100 years later, the story was still popular, as Toei created a kaiju-esque movie about Jiraiya's tale in 1966 called Kairyu Daikessen, or the Magic Serpent over here in the West.
And you thought Naruto was the first to capitalize on giant toad-on snake fights. Also watch the subtitled version, the localized version is terrible.
Then there was the Power Ranger-like World Ninja War Jiraiya back in 1980, which co-starred Grandmaster of the Togakure-ryu school, Dr. Masaki. And finally we have Naruto, which paints Jiraiya as a perverted shinobi sensei. Class act.
Hey, to be fair, Jiraiya and Naruto did a lot more than just perv on girls.
Oh, I know, it's just a different interpretation after all. I'm just happy that the true essence of who Jiraiya was is still maintained in Japan even to this day.
But that's when you gotta ask, who was Jiraiya, and what was his grand adventure that stayed popular for over 200 years, and what does it have to do with Naruto?
Well, first of all, we gotta give credit where credit's due. Jiraiya creator Onitake Kanwate actually gained his inspiration for the toad magic-wielding ninja from a Chinese Song-era Robin Hood character named Wolaye. Now, that wasn't his actual name, but rather a code name, which means I was here, something that the character would write on each house that he hit. Kanwate then changed the kanji name from this to this, and thus the legend was born.
And what a legend indeed, considering Jiraiya's tale took over 29 years to complete. But we'll give you guys the abridged version. Also bear in mind there are almost a dozen different interpretations of the story. This is but one of them.
Alright, so a long time ago, there was a nameless evil serpent who sought out control over all of Japan. He began his plot by attempting to try and take over the Tsukikage clan by usurping their daimyo, Gunryo Miyukinosuke. By possessing his adoptive son Orochimaru, the spirit serpent began manipulating the daimyo until he named Orochimaru his one true successor. Step 1 complete. Step 2 was to take over the powerful Ogata and Matsuda clans, who both held powerful insignia stamps of the shogunate. These stamps could mark any document as a decree from the shogun himself, thus giving Orochimaru incredible sway. By having Gunryo convince the shogun that the two clans were plotting against him, Orochimaru was able to usurp and destroy the Ogata and Matsuda clans, taking the seals in the process. Finally, Orochimaru's troops had the heirs of the throne of the Ogata and Matsuda clans, Hiroyuki Ogata and Tsunade Matsuda respectively, thrown off a cliff in order to kill them. Luckily for the two, there was an old sage by the name of Senso Dojin who not only rescued them, but raised and trained them in powerful Yamabushi magics and shinobi techniques in order to retake their homeland. Hiroyuki Ogata, whose name was changed to Jiraiya to protect his identity, was trained in the art of toad magic, while Tsunade was trained in slug magic. See, for whatever reason, there was a rock-paper-scissors relationship with transformation magic in the story. Snake beats frog, frog beats slug, and slug beats snake. Therefore, Sensou Dojin trained Jiraiya and Tsunade with frog and slug magic in order to put the balance in their favor when they were finally ready to face Orochimaru.
Also, in some versions of the story, Sensou Dojin was actually a toad sage in disguise who trained Jiraiya alone, while Tsunade was trained by a separate slug sage in human form.
Either way, old guy teaches ninja kids. Once they were completely trained, the now married Jiraiya and Tsunade set off to take their lands back from Orochimaru, but their first assault didn't go so well. Jiraiya was badly injured in the fight and was poisoned by Orochimaru. Getting Jiraiya to safety, Tsunade was able to heal him with her slug magic, but he still wasn't completely healed to full. Turns out Jiraiya needed the blood of his sister to heal him from Orochimaru's poison, which his sister valiantly did, sacrificing her life to help her brother defeat the evil demon. But even with Jiraiya completely healed, they were still outmatched. They needed a powerful weapon called the Nakiri-maru, or wave-cutting sword, to finally banish the serpent spirit that possessed Orochimaru. Many adventures ensued trying to find the sword, but the couple did succeed in obtaining it, and together, they banished the spirit serpent from their lands for all times, and Orochimaru was set free.
Happily ever after.
Yeah, but it's not exactly what we found in Naruto. First of all, let's talk about Jiraiya. Tsunade is Jiraiya's love interest in the show, sure, but their relationship really doesn't ever get off the ground. Whereas in the folk story, Jiraiya and Tsunade were actually married before they even bothered with Orochimaru. And Jiraiya certainly wasn't gigantic perv in the folk story either, but rather a Robin Hood-esque hero. Finally, the tale of Jiraiya is at its core a revenge story for both himself and Tsunade for having their lands taken from them, but in Naruto, it's basically let's take down Orochimaru because boy be crazy.
Well, maybe if you want to look at the adaptation more broadly, but there are a couple of specific details that heavily nod to the original Jiraiya Goketsu Monogatari. Having Jiraiya and Naruto be trained by both Hiruzen Sarutobi and Kukasaku at Mount Myoboku was actually a stroke of genius, because this not only covers the version of the story that has Jiraiya training with Sensou Dojin, but also the version that has him training with the Toad Sage Spirit as well.
Well, alright. In fact, in that version, Jiraiya actually saves him from an evil snake spirit, which is exactly what happens in the anime.
Also, you remember how you mentioned that Jiraiya Goketsu Monogatari became a super famous kabuki play?
Yeah?
Watch this.
山の仙人とは仮の姿北に南に西東とも黙る色男ジライア様たわしのことよ
Okay, you got me there. But how about Tsunade? Granted, in Jiraiya Goketsu Monogatari, she was stated as being incredibly beautiful as she was in the anime, but she sure never had a gambling problem. Nor was she this put off by Jiraiya. In fact, in the book, the two were practically made for each other. It was even decreed by the slug sage that trained Tsunade that she should wed Jiraiya. So what's the deal there?
Well, there had to be some changes to convenience and original plot within the show, but there are tons and tons of little nods here and there that illustrate just how much Tsunade of Naruto matches her folklore counterpart. First of all, in the first battle with Orochimaru in the book, Jiraiya was badly wounded and can only be healed by Tsunade's ninja magic, which is precisely what Tsunade and Naruto has the power to do.
Right, but it took Jiraiya's sister sacrificing her blood in order to save him from Orochimaru's poison.
True, but remember, once Tsunade and Naruto got over her fear of blood, she started going to town on Orochimaru. It's not quite the same thing between stories, but blood acting as a catalyst is present in both versions to stop Orochimaru once and for all. Also, being a daughter of a Hokage, having Tsunade being named a princess in the anime does match her role as heir to the Matsuda clan in the book.
Okay, but what about Orochimaru? In the anime, he was actually a compatriot of Jiraiya and Tsunade, not some spirit serpent trying to take over all of Japan. Heck, I don't even think Orochimaru and Naruto even wanted world domination, just the ability to gain knowledge of all the jutsus in the world by any means necessary.
But again, there are so many subtle references to Orochi and folklore within the Orochi of Naruto. Just like the evil snake spirit that possessed Orochimaru in the original story, so did the white serpent poison Orochimaru's mind in Naruto. At least it's heavily implied. But the theme of possession didn't end there with Orochimaru and Naruto either. It was said that in his pursuit of immortality, he possessed several others, including his plan to possess Sasuke. However, it was Itachi's Susanoo and the Totsuka sword that sealed away Orochimaru, just like the Nakiri-maru in Jiraiya Gosetsu Monogatari. Finally, this ongoing theme of usurping is definitely present in both versions of Orochimaru. In the book, the Spirit Serpent, and by extension Orochimaru, stages a coup against the Tsukikage, Ogata, and Matsuda clans. And in Naruto, you've got Orochimaru attempting to usurp the Hokage of Konoha. Parallels be strong, my dude. Look, I get where you're coming from. It is frustrating watching works that were inspired by classic stories take over said stories in popularity. But the cool thing about that is that it leads people to discover the true folklore of the characters they fell in love with. Sure, Naruto airlifts a lot of ninja history and folktales, but it still treats them with respect and brings the story to a brand new younger audience. And when they get older, it'll be their turn to discover the timeless stories their favorite shows came from. After all, isn't that what we just did in this episode?
You know what? You're right. Considering Jiraiya and Naruto is actually writing Jiraiya Goketsu Monogatari, I'm sure there have been a decent number of people who have backpedaled the anime and went looking for the inspiration. Plus, even hard old culture buffs like me gotta appreciate it when the adaptation can work in this much subtle referencing to the source material. So to answer the question of is not only Jiraiya, but Tsunade and Orochimaru good ninjas according to history and culture, I'd say so. I wouldn't say that they were one-to-one story-wise, but when it comes to the hidden references, I think the show does a good job of portraying the three really well. But thanks for watching, everyone, and if you want to help the show and vote on future topics, get episodes a day early and ad-free, and even a special shout-out, check out Witch Ninja on Patreon. It's the best way to support the show. If not, don't worry, because there's plenty of other Witch Ninja episodes to check out with even more coming every single month. From analyzing other anime characters like One Punch Man, Speed of Sound Sonic, to video game characters like Mega Man's very own Shadow Man. And don't forget to subscribe to never miss out on a new episode. But until next time, everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.